Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland in a few minutes' time. Israel says it has carried out a wave of airstrikes in Syria in response to what it says was a rocket attack launched from inside Syria against Israeli positions in the Golan Heights. This footage was filmed in the Syrian capital Damascus in the early hours of this morning. And you can see the traces of rockets and missiles in the sky. There are differing accounts of what happened. Israel says it attacked Syrian-based Iranian weapons stores, intelligence facilities and launch sites. Syrian state media says some of the Israeli rockets were intercepted. Israel says about 20 missiles were launched at what it described as forward military positions on the Golan Heights, disputed territory controlled by Israel. It says there were no injuries or damage and no hits were located in Israel. And let's cross now to Jerusalem, and we can talk to David Keyes, who's a spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Keyes, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Do you think that these latest skirmishes were linked to the U.S. decision to pull out of the Iran nuclear deal, or is that a coincidence? Put this in context for us.
I think the latest attacks from Iran on Israel are part of a long series of attacks. You know, for decades, Iran has been blowing up targets in the West against Israel, killing Jews, blowing up a Jewish center in South America. Iran has been funding Hamas and Hezbollah with billions of dollars, terrorist organizations that seek the annihilation of Israel. Iran sent a drone a few months ago to try to attack Israel, and just in the early hours of this morning launched a barrage of 20 missiles aimed at Israel. So this is one in a very long series of provocations and, frankly, outrageous attempts to attack Israel. But Iran's intention is very, very clear. They state it openly. The mullahs in Tehran chant death to Israel, death to America. They inscribe missiles in parades in the middle of Tehran with lines like, Israel will be wiped off the map. That is exactly what they want, and we will not let that happen.
Does it represent an escalation, though, in your opinion?
Well, Iran for some time has been escalating the situation. What it's in fact trying to do is to move its army, massive amounts of forces, 1,000 miles from Iran right on Israel's border, so that every mother, every father, every child is in danger from Iran's provocations and actions.
You'll be well aware, of course, of the criticism of the dossiers revealed by Benjamin Netanyahu in the last few days, the criticism that Israel's intelligence on Iran and its nuclear ambitions and nuclear capabilities was out of date, that the IAEA said that Iran was complying with the terms of the nuclear deal. So it's no surprise that various nations, France, others, are calling on de-escalation from both sides after last night's incident. What is being done on the Israeli side to try to de-escalate?
Well, first of all, just to correct a few things that you said, just a few days ago, Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif said on television, "We never wanted to produce a bomb." Israel has obtained well over 100,000 secret files and documents from Iran's atomic archive, which prove the polar opposite. We didn't stand up there and say that Iran is violating the deal, because it's actually immaterial if they violate the deal. Our point was that if they keep every letter of this deal, every comma, if they don't violate a single thing within a few years, they can have enough enriched uranium for an arsenal of nuclear weapons, 100 nuclear weapons. Imagine a theocratic dictatorship in possession of 100 nuclear weapons. That would be bad for Israel, it's bad for the region, and it's bad for the world. So our case was very simple. Iran lied to get into the nuclear deal. As we saw, Hassan Rouhani, the Iranian president, Supreme Leader Khamenei, and the foreign minister all went on record saying we never, ever, ever wanted to produce a bomb. And in fact, as a condition for implementation of the Iran deal, they had to come clean on all their past activities. We see
It's
now
in everyone's
that they
interest, though,
did
isn't
not
it?
do that.
It's in everyone's interest, though, isn't it, to de-escalate the tensions? Is that something diplomatically that Israel is willing to try to do at the moment?
I think there's only one party which is responsible for the tensions today, and that's the Iranian regime, the regime that calls for death to Israel and death to America and launches dozens of missiles at Israel and sends armed drones to attack Israel and has blown up Jews around the world and committed acts of terror on 6 continents and is the primary funder of genocidal terrorist organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah. Israel has no interest in war whatsoever. Our hand is extended in peace to every single one of our neighbors. And I hope the day comes, and I believe it will come soon, where there is a change, frankly, in the approach of Iran. Rather than calling for Israel's annihilation, it understands that Israel isn't going anywhere. But this incendiary, genocidal rhetoric of the annihilation of a state has absolutely no place in 2018, and the Iranian leadership, which is amassing massive amounts of arms and moving its army 1,000 miles right to Israel's doorstep, is the only party responsible for these escalations.
Okay, David Keyes, thank you very much.